thing about that too, the mistake that I make often is try to love Kamala the way I want to be loved. Now, you know that's not love. That's me doing something to get something. Let me say it again. When you try to love someone the way you receive love. So, for example, if I hear some good news and I get excited, I get really, really excited, and so if somebody tells me good news, I'm gonna get excited. I'm gonna get excited with that, and then I get mad because they're not getting excited. Well, that's really selfish. That's not reaching the person where they need to be met, but rather reaching the person where I need to be met in hopes of getting something in return. Mm-hmm.
You know, we in the therapy world like to feel like we know a lot of stuff, right? And so we talk about all kinds of different concepts, and we've done it all along the way. But nothing that we talk about is new as it relates to the Word of God. Here we are talking about how God is coming to get us, how we get to be now physically, not just mentally, a part of something.
Yes, Lord.
And so this was a concept that Maslow talked about a long time ago, love and belonging. He had this great hierarchy of needs, and if you've got safety and security, you've got shelter, you've got all of those things, then once you have that secure foundation, then you can focus on love and belonging. But here it is that God is saying you already belong. You don't have to worry about love and belonging in the way that Maslow talked about it. But the interesting thing is, just in the same way that Maslow identified that love and belonging is something that we need to thrive as human beings, here's where we're saying to you that, yeah, we agree. We do need love and belonging to thrive as human beings. We do need love and belonging to be able to experience care and compassion and empathy and having a place in the world. We do need love and belonging to be part of community. And yes, we're
in the kingdom of God.
So if we're being honest, and I'm hoping we are, we have started by being honest and vulnerable ourselves.
Yes.
And that's kind of the point. If we're honest, all we want to do is be in control.
Yes.
That's all we want. We want to control our relationships. We want to control the outcome of things. We want to know what's coming next. We always want to be in control. The trouble with being in control and having a relationship with God is that the two don't go together. I can't be in control and you can't be in control at the same time.
That's right.
You ever done a tug of war? If we're both pulling, somebody has to win.
Yeah.
Somebody does.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about God is that he gives us choice.
Yeah.
So if I want to pull in my direction, he's gonna let me. Am I going to be free of the consequences of my direction? No. But he's gonna let me. So I want for us to pause and really think about how many ways am I trying to control people and situations in my life that I have no business trying to control.
But let me ask you a question. Where does this obsession with control come from? Why are we so obsessed with being in control?
Because we're afraid.
Because we're motivated by those three demons.
Fear,
Fear,
shame,
shame,
and guilt.
and guilt.
Good evening and welcome to Monday Night Live with KW.
NJ?
Oh, right, he's not here. Pastor Gibson sends his love. He's not feeling well. Actually, he got in an accident over the weekend. Let's keep Pastor Jimmy Gibson in our prayers on tonight. We would like to welcome you to another Monday Night Live. We're excited to be here. It's Monday.
It is.
And so since it's Monday, we're celebrating.
We are always celebrating.
What are you celebrating
Well,
tonight?
maybe we should remind some people about what we're doing. Because ever so often we've got a new face in here, a new commenter in here, a new viewer in here. So we have revamped Mondays. We are not doing Monday blues. We're not doing, oh my gosh, it's Monday. We're not doing how terrible Monday is. We're not rehashing any of that. We have reframed Monday as a celebration.
That's right. So no matter what happened on Monday, we're trying to find something to celebrate.
Absolutely.
So what are you celebrating?
Well, today I am celebrating me.
Ah.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because as much as we try to find things to celebrate, it's so important to always to validate yourself as well and to see yourself as valuable. So today is Kamala Day.
Ooh, well, today I'm going to join Kamala and celebrate Kamala. I want to join you for Kamala Day and celebrate you. And I'm assuming you're celebrating you because you're a human being.
That's right.
Not because you did some
Nope.
great thing, not because you earned some
Nope.
money, not because you stayed longer at work, but because
Nope.
you're a human being.
Good enough just because I am.
Oh, girl, I'm celebrating you. I am celebrating you. And while I'm at it, I should probably go ahead and celebrate me
you?
too.
Yes, you should. Yes,
How about
should.
you celebrate you? Because you're a human being. That's what makes you valuable. Well, we haven't been on live all of February.
That's right. But I've been thinking about this. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about this just a couple of minutes ago. And I was saying to myself, what should we say about that? And you know what I think? February, you got a great opportunity to see some of the amazing people that we have talked to in the past.
Oh, yes.
For some of you,
Oh,
that
yes.
was brand spanking new. For some of you, you were like, oh, yeah, that was a good one.
Oh, yes.
But
And the one with Pastor John Hall,
yes.
I saw comments. There were
Yep.
people were saying, "Oh man, this is good. This is good. This is good." I felt so bad when I had to say it's not live because they were asking questions live.
Yeah,
And I was like, I felt bad when I had to say it's not live.
But I think it goes to show, how impactful it is when we're able to talk to people about their lives and the impact they're making, because it influences us. It
That's
influences
right.
each one of us who
That's right.
are watching and listening.
That's right. Now, Kamala, we said, we celebrate Monday, so forth and so on. But what is it that we're really doing?
We selling stuff, y'all. www.kwministries.net/shop. Whatever you are doing, put it down right now. I don't care if you're eating, if you were scrolling by the video, stop. Go to the website, www.kwministries.net.
You'll find us there.
We will be there, so you can keep listening. And we want, since I'm the salesperson of the team, I want you to go and get something tonight. There is somebody in your life or you who could benefit from something that's in there. We've got devotionals, we've got books, we've got coping skills workbooks, we've got free
stuff. Yeah.
So there is something for everybody there. And so I'm challenging you tonight, this minute, head on over and get something.
All right. I am excited about our guest tonight. I am so looking forward to this conversation. I have been trying to talk with this person, and I guess when it rains, it pours, because he didn't come alone.
No, he did not.
But we've been trying to talk with Dr. Baldeo for years. Oh man, we can say years. for years now. This allowed me to introduce him real quick. Dr. Greg Anthony Baldeo is a pastor and educator, a leadership strategist, a change management expert. He has diverse and expansive ministry experience servicing the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Jamaica, Canada, the United States. He holds a bachelor's in religious studies with a minor in counseling psychology, a master's degree in counseling, and a doctorate in organizational strategic leadership. His doctoral research focuses on cross-generational success with organizations. Let me say that again. Cross-generational success with organizations. He's authored a series of books to aid churches solve the generational divide and lead effective ministries. I was going to say he has his two boys with him tonight, but that would be inappropriate.
Very much so.
And not only inappropriate, incorrect.
Inaccurate.
He has his two men with him on tonight, and I'm going to allow him to introduce their sons once he gets on. So I'm excited. Without any further ado, Annika, can you let Dr. Baldeo in the room? Doc, how are you?
Hey.
Coming in.
Hey, what's up?
Hey. While you guys are coming in, can I put a little bit of a human check mark? How about Dr. Baldeo and his family, his gentlemen, are also some of the most genuine people that we know?
Yes, they are. And to be completely transparent, they have been our family friends for years. And some of the kindest hearts I've ever met personally. Thank you, Kamala. Doc, would you introduce the men before we start talking?
Well, I'm glad you said introduce the men. You said I'm coming on with my men, and we had a chuckle around.
Oh boy, that may be a generational issue there. That's good.
But I'll allow them to introduce themselves.
My name is Rashaun Baldeo.
Don't have a doctorate, but
Yes.
yet. But we're pretty much just here to talk about our experiences with our own journeys and our own generations, and offer a unique perspective where we're coming from.
Hi, I'm Javar, Baldeo, fourth year university student, communication, media, and film. Whoop, whoop.
Almost done.
Almost done. Graduate in April. Very much looking forward to it. Yeah, and like Rashaun said, we're just here to give our perspective, or different generational perspective, on cross generations in families, organizations, and even your church.
Now,
We have three generations here, so let me just bring that in right now. Dr. Kate Taylor and Pastor Taylor. I'm Gen X, he's millennial, and he's Gen Z.
wow. So, but can I interpret something? Did I hear the men say they're there to support the old man? Is that what they said? Is that a good interpretation? Or is that offensive? Or in our current age and context based on the conversation we're going to have, would that be offensive to say?
Might be a little ageism going on there, but we won't say that.
Gen Z has never had a problem offending people. So.
Well, there we go. Well, here's how I would like to start off, gentlemen, because I think we have a lot of grounds to cover. Well, tonight we're talking about a journey to healing the generations. And I think I saw a video that you guys posted on Facebook. I think I want to play that video as the start of our discussion, and we will bring out our discussion out of there. So I'll play it. I'll ask you what's going on, and somewhere, Doc, we will weave in how you got interested in this, so forth and so on. But let's start out with that video, and then we'll work from there. Does that sound okay?
Sure.
All right. Let's see. Watch this video with me, guys.
Report! Jump out of the boat! Who left in the boat? Repeat! And report! The two of them in a one boat! Report, jump out of the boat! Who left? Repeat. Oh, God. You're not repeating the question.
All right. What? Tell me. I mean, I've been laughing for months, but tell me what's going on here. Talk to me.
So first, let's start off with, I used to do this to both of them when they were smaller, right? And I used to say, repeat a report, went in a boat, and they would say, repeat. And I would repeat, and they're like, why are you repeating? I'm telling you who left in the boat, right? So we were driving home from church this Sabbath afternoon, and they started up around the back, and they started going on, and they asked. So I took my phone out because I'm going to repeat, and they're repeated, and they're doing it, and yeah, that's basically what was happening there. But it's really, we got the idea after we looked at it, that generations are so different, and generations get so frustrated with each other over simplest of things, right? And they were getting frustrated while they were making it a fun time as we were driving that Sabbath. It really shows how different generations have different values and beliefs and perspectives on things. And sometimes you're saying the right thing, but the other generation is getting frustrated because they are not hearing the right thing, or not hearing what you are saying or what you're trying to communicate.
Or the translation. It gets lost.
The translation, exactly.
Now, you've said a lot of powerful stuff there, but there's something you slid by that I want for you to expound on, and Kamala will tell me whether or not she heard it also. You said generations get upset over the simplest of things. Could you expand on that simplest and upset motif there?
So simplest of things is not simple to the person that's trying to communicate, or the persons that are communicating. But when you step out of the actual situation and really look at the situation, you can see, really, is that really what the argument was all about? Is that really what we are disagreeing about? So the simplicity is not within the persons who are disagreeing at the moment, because that's real for them, right? And they are expressing from a deep level of perspective, their belief, their culture, their thought, and their generation. But then if you and I are watching from afar, you'd wonder, don't you get that? I get it. It's simple, right? So that's where I'm coming from when I talk about the simplest of things.
It's even that there's a graphic that goes around sometimes of two people standing up looking at a number, and from one angle they're seeing a 6, and from the other angle they're seeing a 9. Both are saying 6, 9, but someone looking outside is looking and being like, it doesn't matter. Like, you guys are just looking at it from different perspectives. Right.
And they are both right. When it comes to generations, and let's break that down a little bit, right? When it comes to generations, they grow up with a different time span. And within the time span, you call that cohort effect. Cohort effect, this is where you place generation from an age perspective, right? Within those age perspective, you also have what is called your other effects, such as societal effects or environmental effects that are happening, that is shaping that generation. And that generation, from that societal shape, from that cultural shape, from that time period that is happening, allow them to build certain beliefs and values and way of seeing and experiencing life, which is different from a different generation. So when I come now as my Gen X self, and I'm talking to my Gen Z son, he's hearing from a different perspective than I am hearing. I grew up in a time when we go outside and play, right? And we get home before sunset. We're good, right? They grew up in a total different era. They grew up with technology, right? Wherever they are, we can just call and we can find them. In my days, I didn't even have a phone, much less a cell phone. So it's a different thought period, it's a different belief system, and your perspective changes because of the environment, societal, environmental impacts that have been made in your life.
The other day, Kamal and I were at the gym. I go to the gym. I do. I really do. I promise you I do. But we were at the gym. We were leaving, and a gentleman that we've become friends from being at the gym, he was talking to us, and he said to us, he said, I don't know this world. This is not our world anymore. And we don't have a clue what's going on. And I took a mental note of that statement because I wanted to share that with you, to say to you, to ask you how, based on what you just said about how people hear things and how people, the environment that we're in now with technology, is that a part of the challenge that older generations are having, is that they don't feel like they even belong here anymore?
It could be. I think the thing is that the generations are changing, and I don't think there is a difference between a baby boomer, a Gen X, and a millennial as it relates to changes, right? The changes have developed over years. So when a baby boomer was younger, the traditionalists would say, this is the worst generation I'm seeing. Okay? Now came us, the Gen X, and the boomer said, this is the worst generation we're seeing, right? But the changes are happening, and they happen because the previous generations have put in foundational stuff that are making these changes. So for example, baby boomers when they were coming up, it's that generation where family was emphasized, but at the same time had the most divorce rates, because that was also the time that women became liberated and then went into the workplace. It's why we as Gen Xers had to fend a lot for ourselves, because we were left alone to take care of things. We were trusted to take care of things. Now come us, we are helicopter parents, the millennials, right? Because we are saying now, listen, because of what we experience, we don't want you to experience it. We want a better life for you. So each generation creates in some shape or form the next generation. And what that does is that we put the previous generation at a disadvantage of understanding what life perspective looks like for them, because the next generation changes what life perspective look like. The values change, the way they see life looks totally different. So yes, in some way, this is not what I'm used to. And because of that, we have some grief, some pain, some sorrows that are happening within families, in organizations. Over $360 billion is spent each year. $360 billion to resolve conflicts such as generational conflicts in the workplace.
Wow.
And the church pews are empty because you have a whole set of generations that are missing from the church.
Yeah.
Why? Because there is no understanding of what's happening. So one, the older generation is trying to say, listen, this is how I know it, this is how it should be, and this is how we're going to continue it. The millennials, they don't want to fight, except for Rashaun. Rashaun and I are always fighting. the millennials don't want to fight, they want to flight. And the Gen Zs are not even showing up for the flights. They're just not there if you're not speaking their language. Right, and then you have the baby boomers and the traditionalists that are still holding on. And here we, standing in the middle as Gen X, we are fighting. We're trying to whatever, and we are the smallest population of generations. We're trying to say, "Hey, we're right here. Look at us. Let's do this," because we're in the middle. We can flex on either side.
I love that.
That creates a whole lot of tension. It creates a whole lot of pain. The way we communicate or lack of communicating hurts people deeper than we think.
So, in listening to everything that you've said so far, I find myself thinking about this idea of silos, almost like we've created generational silos. And I'm thinking back to the analogy of the 6 versus the 9 and the perspectives and all of that. So I guess my question is, if we know so much about how these differences and differing perspectives and all of these things have potential to divide us, what steps can we take to begin to nurture communication, conversation, collaboration, so that we can start to dissolve those silos?
And that's exactly why Doc is here. But before you answer that, Doc, you said something earlier that I want for you to just pinch on again while we're setting up the problem, so that you can give us the solution that Kamala is asking for. You mentioned that these generational traits are formed over a period of time. Would you also agree, though, that these latter generations are moving, it's changing at a way faster pace? And what I mean by that is, the other day, my 16-year-old daughter said she does not understand this new generation. I almost passed out when I heard that. I like, what the heck? What did you just say? So, is it true, or have you noticed that the baby boomers, the before them, after them, but now these at Alpha and these guys, their stuff is just changing at a way faster pace than previous generations?
I'll take that from my perspective.
Yes, sir.
I'll say I think it's mainly two things. I think one, technology has played a very big role in especially the way we receive information and how fast it gets to us. So it might be even the same rate as previous generations, but because of social media, it's way easier for us to actually see it happening in real time. And then another thing that really plays a big part is culture. So like you said, your daughter is saying the new generation, but there's a Jamaican culture that
permeates.
Yeah, exactly. That so like and Javar and I have experiences as well where even some of our peers who are just only North American or just European, we see a difference even some of the ways we think, even though we might be the same age, because the culture still directs like how we think, what we do, and our upbringing.
I think even myself, I'm more of a hybrid between Gen X and millennial. Just simply Gen Z, sorry, and a millennial. Just simply because of the fact that I was grown up in Jamaica, and
so we use cassettes. Like
exactly the stuff that was happening here, we didn't get access to that in real time as it was happening. We got access to it maybe like a year, 2, 3 years later. So maybe I grew up with like the 90s R&B music that my parents were always playing because that's the CDs that they had stacked up. But I didn't get what was trending on YouTube because we didn't have internet or we didn't have access to the internet at that point in time.
So how do we solve this? It's 8:24. How do we solve this generational challenge that we have, Doc?
Listen, we are excited. We're going to share a little with you tonight. We're excited because we believe that God has given us the experience quantitatively and qualitatively, the ingredients, the right ingredients, the right process,
the right struggles
Ooh, I like that.
things, right? Let's start first with us as a family. Let's go a little deep. Can I go a little deep, guys?
If you feel like it.
If I feel like it. So right before coming onto this program, we had an argument.
Oh, yeah. I know where we're going that.
That sounds like us.
Wait a minute. I didn't know you were going in that direction.
That sounds familiar.
The argument was with Rashaun and I. Javar, as usual, went quiet. And
This ain't got nothing to do with me.
This time had nothing to do with me. I'm just gonna sit in the corner and just watch it all happen.
So this is what has happened, right? We've had some cultural conflicts. We have had some generational conflicts. We have had some different conflicts of opinion and perspectives and values, and some religious conflicts, right? That has played in. I believe majority of it has been generational and cultural mixed together, right? And Rashaun and I are always two that are always really butting heads, like real hard butting heads. And one thing is for sure, I hate it, he hates it, and I think Donnet and Javar hates it even more.
And Donnet being your wife.
Donnet being my wife,
And
yes.
their mother.
Yes. And we have felt the pain of how that has ripped through our family, the misunderstanding, the communication that was not well communicated, the conversations that did not happen the way they should have happened, coming back to a place where, now that we're aware, we were really saying the same thing, right? And then I was also pastoring. And about a decade or a little over a decade ago, I was asked to pastor a large congregation. That I say it's about 7 different churches in that one congregation of churches, and various generations. Okay? That had me puzzled because you had only the baby boomers that were making decisions, but we say the Gen X and the millennials are important, right? And then I started doing my doctoral program, and I started looking at organizations and how do we get organizations to be effective. And then this is where we struck gold. We understood that this was before 2020. In 2020, there were going to be 5 generations for the very first time in the history of our world that would mature and be working alongside each other. And exactly, that's how I went. So if we didn't have 5 generations and we're having so much conflict, so much issues, so much problems, then when we do get these 5 generations 2020, what's going to happen? And we are really seeing in 2024 some deep issues in homes, in organizations, and in churches. And so we went on a path that we needed to research. And one of the things that Donnet would say to us when we started getting at each other, she would use a word.
Walter?
No.
Calm.
Calm. Guys, just calm down. Calm down. Now I started looking at, from a research perspective, how do we get organizations effective? There are a number of things that we can go on the whole organization being effective, but I zeroed in on generations. We came up with a formula, and I'm saying we because though I have the degree, we all did it, right? We use quantitative and qualitative methods to work out what this really looked like and what it is. And
we're clear. I remember when those videos were being made. I know you all did.
Yes. And we came up with the concept of calm. C-A-L-M. C-A-L-M. You guys want to dig into that a little bit?
It's funny because you actually mentioned C, which is conversation. It's really where everything starts in any type of problem solving. It really starts with having the conversation, being able to not just talk, but listen. Right. And that's a really big part of conversation that I think a lot of we forget, especially in generations. It's everyone wants to share the knowledge. No one wants to receive it. So because we're not all ready to receive the knowledge, sometimes when we have even have the conversations or have the sit downs, there's still friction that takes place, which kind of is alleviated by A, which
before you go to A, let me ask a question about C. When we started talking, we referenced the idea that sometimes we're not able to hear the next person because of the internal interpretation or challenges interpreting. So I'm assuming that whole idea of conversation is going to teach how to hear and how to speak in different languages.
Yes, absolutely. And it ties right in very effectively to A, which stands for awareness, which is pretty much in another word or another term is emotional intelligence. So it is not just being aware of how you feel, but also being aware of how others feel and how others might perceive it. So in then having those conversations in combination with the awareness, we've then created the space where both parties are pleasantly
happy to be at the table together.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if they had the disagreements, they understand that the disagreement probably more came from me just having one life experience and you just having another.
Right.
There's probably some commonality in that somewhere.
Right.
So those really cover the first two letters.
I have a question about awareness.
Okay.
So, how do individuals become aware in a productive way without making assumptions about what others might be feeling? You know what I mean? Because how I heard you talk about awareness.
To the seed, the conversation. So and how we have it is each thing feeds on the other, just like things have to. Where no one thing can do it by itself, and no one thing is more important than each other. They have to work together to accomplish one goal. Which is exactly what the mission of the church is. It's all of us coming together to accomplish one goal, which is the glorification of God.
Good stuff.
Before we go to L, I saw something on the internet recently and I want to try it. Make a heart with your hands. So you make it like that. It seems like you're attempting to make it in a way that. There you go. Okay. Yeah, Ozzy Kamala got it. Pastor, try it out.
Oh, I need to try it?
Yeah, make a heart with your hands.
Okay.
See, and this is what I meant about the generational and how I'm kind of a generational hybrid. Because I would have done the same thing everyone else did and do this. But probably every other Gen Z you might meet will do something like that.
Oh.
Yeah, you are correct.
Oh.
Yeah. Which brings us into L, which is love.
Right. So love is a powerful verb that we gotta understand when we sit at the table, that it doesn't matter what is going on. We have to remember that we must love each other, right? And that's what, from our perspective, from a family perspective, though Rashaun may say something that I don't like, or I may say something or vice versa, right? We had to remember and go back to the point that what is this all about? We value each other. For you to love somebody, you gotta value them. Okay, and so you gotta value each other no matter what generation you're in. We gotta value your perspective, your thoughts, your values, and where you're coming from. So though I may not agree with you, I can still love you. Though we disagree, I can still love you, right? I can still know that you are a human being. You are a child of God. You are a creature, right? That God created, and you are special. And because you are special, I begin now to treat you that way over the essence of my own personal thought and belief. And then that jumps back to awareness. And though it's not a linear process, it jumps into each other. Because if I have emotional intelligence and I'm aware of my feelings and I'm aware of how I make others feel around me, right? That will also allow me to love more. Okay, so the love goes deep, and that goes for every single human being, right? Whether you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, whether you are you don't believe in God, it doesn't matter who you are. We all need love to survive.
Personally, I think that's the hardest one to really get into, because it's a feeling, but it's not a feeling. It's more, it's a principle, right? But it's something that like we take as feelings heavy a lot. In terms of, I don't feel like doing this right now. I don't feel like whatever right now. I don't feel like I love this person right now. But that doesn't mean that we should not still love them.
This is good. And please, again, those of you that are watching, please feel free to throw your questions in here. So we're saying so far, let's talk. Let's have a conversation We're saying not only should we have a conversation, let's become aware not just of how I'm feeling, but what's going on with the other person. And then I hear you say, let's love the person more than the conversation, more than the issue, more than the discussion being held. So that way we can separate the individual from whatever we're talking about.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Right. And then the final in CALM is M, which is mutual respect. Okay. It's okay to disagree. It's okay not to see eye to eye. And many times we get into conflicts and we think we shouldn't have conflicts, but conflicts are okay. It's how we deal with those conflicts, right? Mutual respect for each other, ensuring that I'm giving you respect amid our differences, and you're giving me that respect amid the differences, right? We have tested this, and we believe that this is what needs to take a family, organization, a church to cross-generational ministry. Okay. Now, Pastor Taylor, Dr. Taylor, you can be proud that our first time we are saying this is on your show.
Hold on. Breaking news.
We launched this on March the 17th is where we are launching this big concept, but you got it first. So,
all right.
KW Ministry got it first, right? So let's not push into cross-generational ministry. We have always heard about
Dr. Baldeo, can I pause you for a second there before you go there?
Sure.
And I think I know how you're going to answer this question, but for the benefit of the people who are kind of listening along, I have a question floating in here about mutual respect. How do you define respect cross-generationally? Because respect can be a very subjective term.
So, for example, the other evening, we were talking with our 16-year-old, and we, it was all jokes. We were all joking, and we were going out. I'm just trying to remember exactly what. Kamala and I were going out, and she wanted to come with us. And we were joking. This is wife and husband time. You can't come. And she kissed her teeth. I mean, loud and clear. I mean, and she wasn't being. You guys know her, Dr. Baldeo. She was not being disrespectful at all. Nobody was arguing. Nobody was mad. Nobody was angry. So I do believe that's a relevant question of the definition of respect, because if we were talking and I kissed my teeth at my wife, where she would have interpreted that differently than how we interpreted that from her.
Or the generation before us.
So I'll let you guys jump in with this as well. There are two things that are happening here. One, culture and generation. Okay. For you to have your child hiss your teeth from a cultural perspective, where we're coming from the Caribbean, or even from our culture of Black people, that is a sign of huge disrespect. But is it really disrespect when you look at it from a generational standpoint? I'll let the guys jump in with this, because we also had to work through a whole lot of you're being disrespectful, and they had to be going, how are we being there? By you just asking, how are you
That's true.
But you see what's playing there, right?
Yes.
From a culture,
yes.
Children should be seen and not heard.
You should not rebut me, the father, in no shape or form.
And I'm not rebutting you. I'm trying to have a conversation.
Exactly. And the thing is, now my culture tells me that no, when I'm talking, you shut up. they had to make me understand you're treating us as if we're not human beings. We also have our own perspective. Jump into that.
No. You're on the road. No.
We also have
What do you say? You hope he's listening to himself.
and I think I've learned it now, right? I've learned it.
We're learning.
It's really important because the way I speak to my dad 10 years ago and the way I speak to my mom 10 years ago is completely different how I speak to them now. Granted, it's still very different the way I speak to my father and the way I speak to my mother.
Oh, yeah.
Very different. Because at the end of the day, they're different people.
Right.
And culture, again, plays a very big part. And he's from a different part of Jamaica than my mom is from.
Right.
So the
Mom
things I
don't
can
play
do
that
with
stuff still.
You see, in joking, I can say, Daddy, you chat too much. He understands the joke. It's fine. We'll laugh about it. He'll probably say it right back to me. That's not going to play with mama. That's not going to play. So I feel like contextually, it's about knowing who you are communicating with, understanding,
Awareness.
being aware of
Yes.
and being open to actually listening and not have that first cultural block of, oh, this person said this is what it means immediately. Instead of really just listening, understanding what they're actually saying and where they're trying to get to.
Because a lot of the times, a lot of problems we have, it's not really the feeling, it's the expression of it. It's the language we use and actually like saying how we feel. So a lot of the times it's not and what happens is then when I rebut what you say, you're like, you're rebutting how I feel. And it's like, no, I'm rebutting what you said to me.
This is the love part. I'm not rebutting you. We're having a conversation.
And let's even tweak that.
That's good.
Let's even tweak that because I don't think we even hear it as rebuttal. I think we hear it as rejection.
Yes. Yes. This is good.
And that's the exactly. We hear it as rejection. We now feel less than.
Yes.
Right. And from now going directly to your question, because we spoke a lot about culture right there. From a generational standpoint, it's how have we developed from a generational standpoint? How has the millennials developed? And what have we taught them, right? We have taught our children to speak up and speak out, right? And when they do speak up and speak out in their generation, we now come in with a cultural standpoint and a parental standpoint to kind of shut them down, right? Because that's not what we were hoping that they would do.
Like, I meant speak out there.
Right.
Yeah.
So mutual respect look at, though we may disagree and don't see things on eye to eye, I don't have to put you down as a person. So it's looking at the person. I'm not putting you down as a person. I'm not looking at you as less than. I am making sure that you understand. Then that's where awareness also comes back. Awareness comes back and the conversation. No, that's not what I am doing. That's not what I'm trying to do. When Ariana would hiss her teeth at you guys, I'm sure she's just saying, yes, talking about your married people and you're going out, whatever. I'm not trying to be disrespectful for you. I'm just expressing myself. I'm expressing a collegial type of relationship that I'm trying to develop with you, right? And when we react to those things instead of listening to them and being aware of where the individual is coming from, that's now where we start having the conflicts and we start doing things and saying things that the healing is not taking place.
All right. We only have 14 minutes and we need to go into our cross-generational discussion. Sister Phoenix, Odine Phoenix, says she's loving this discussion. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We're so grateful. Brother Glenn says, good night, everyone. Good night, Brother Glenn. Thank you for hanging out with us. All right, Dr. Baldeo, you were getting ready to take us into our cross-generational.
So cross. How do we become a cross generation? There are three ways that generations are showing up, right? One, multi-generational. Multi-generation just say that there are several generations that are present, but they are just present. They are here. right? Then you have intergenerational, and a lot of churches are pushing, oh, I want to have an intergenerational church. An intergenerational church basically says that we are here, we are interacting at some level, we're participating together at some level, but that's it. We're present and participating, but then there's not much more from that. A cross-generational church, a cross-generational family, a cross-generational organization say, we are here, we are present, we're interacting, and we're cross-pollinating. Cross-pollination means that I am learning from you and you're learning from me. Right? This is where now we're saying, all right, it's not all about you, baby boomer, and what you know. I want to know some of that. And baby boomer is also saying, you Gen Z, you have some experience that I need to learn, and I have some experience that you need to learn. So we are cross-pollinated. What that is going to do as we cross-pollinate, or for us to get to cross-pollination and to cross-generational, we have to implement calm. That's where calm comes. Calm brings you to a cross-generational situation,
Pollination.
environment, a cross-generational church. Those gaps. Imagine that you're only having an intergenerational church. We have been pushing that for a number of years. What has happened? Our pews are getting emptier and emptier. Why? Because the Gen Z, the millennial, do not understand what we do, and we don't understand what they do.
And
So
wouldn't it go back to the gentleman the other morning that put it into a church context, saying, this is not even my church. I don't belong here.
Yes.
But he's fighting for his life.
Yes. Because again, we like to be in our own bubble, right? And we have taken, and let's bring it, so I talk about family, I talk about organization, but bring it to a church context. From a church context, we have taken our own beliefs, our own culture, our own values, and have shaped that and put that into what God likes.
That's true.
Isn't that idolatry?
It is. We have now said that, listen, this is the type of music that God likes.
Woo. This is the kind of
Listen, God has brought us through many situations. So I've worked in Jamaica, I've worked in Canada, I've worked in the United States. And I lived in rural Alberta. And on Sabbath afternoons, what I would see is people, they take their Sabbath with their family, they go canoeing, they go kayaking, walk, horseback riding, they go to the beach. And I was going,
Sabbath breakers.
Summer and seeing some people in shorts.
Right. At church.
That was the shock for me. I was like, wait.
So listen to this though. Listen to this. They take care of their bodies. They eat right. They don't eat every and anything. But then work in Jamaica, and you gotta be at church at 3:30 for Bible class.
Sitting down.
Be here for AY. Even if no youth is there, you gotta be there.
Sitting down.
And just before lunch, I don't eat pork, I don't eat lobster, but I eat all different sort of things.
Sodium.
So I asked the question: which worship does God agree with? And I'm going to leave that for us to ponder. But my point is, from a cross-generational perspective, what does God honor? God honors generations that can sit together, talk together, become aware of each other, love each other, and have mutual respect for each other and worship together. So that the ministry of the church can be propelled not only in my generation, but his generation and onward. And that's what we are giving to the world. We're giving to the world two things. We're giving to the world the concept of cross-generational ministry, cross-generational organization and churches. And we're giving to the world, how do we get there? We're saying that's through the process of calm. We want to invite your listeners to go on our website, and there are assessment tools that you can take to see where you are in the continuum of being a cross-generational family, being a cross-generational church, or a cross-generational organization.
And here's the website.
While the website is coming up,
Tell us the website.
It's bridgingstrategies.com. Correct? Yes.
bridgingstrategies.com.
Bridgingstrategies.com.
There we go. So while that's on screen, I've got a question I want to ask you guys before we run out of time completely. But I think most of all, what people long to know is if the stuff that we talk about works. How has calm impacted you guys as a family?
How many Jamaican, Adventist, or any really religious families do you personally know that can sit down and have a discourse like this? That can sit down on live and tell people, hey, we just had an argument, but here we are now.
Yeah.
Conversating, being aware, loving each other, respecting each other. That's what it's done for our family.
What did you say? The evidence is right. Can you look?
Here's the
evidence. Here's the evidence. The question I had for you guys. I love this. Camille Anderson says, "Come, let us reason together." I love that. I love that. Question I have for you guys, and I know that you're working on a cross-generational ministry that will revolutionize. I think the website is coming up right now as we're speaking, so you can just take a look at the website right here on the screen. But isn't this applicable? Couldn't calm do well in Iraq and Gaza right now?
Calm can be applied anywhere where you see a gap.
A tension.
Yes, if there's a gap or tension, if there's a misunderstanding, if there's trying to get two parties to come to the table, calm can be used. Whether it is race, war, family, generational, there isn't something where having those conversations, being aware, loving the other person, and mutual respect won't erode tension and negativity.
Yeah. I love it. Listen, this has been a great conversation. I listen. I know that this is needed, not just in churches, not just in families, not just in business situations, but this is needed in the streets, man. This is needed in the streets, so that these folk who are killing each other and are tearing up each other could just calm
over simple misunderstandings.
Misunderstandings, stupid stuff. They could just calm. Well,
what we learned in the beginning.
Stupid to me.
Right.
Stupid to me. Let me give you guys the last say. Well, before we do the last say, so Doc, tell me what we're giving away. We didn't talk about that.
We talked about it first. You can give your guess. We have we have several books or resources that we're launching on March 17th, right? I think your audience is mostly church, so we can give away 3 readers to any one of your guests. They won't get it until after the launch, but you're free to do that as best as you want to do that. And they can receive that as soon as possible. All we ask is that they just go on the website. The first 3 persons
To do it?
or whichever way you want
Yeah.
to do it. I leave that up to you.
Okay, right. So no, we're not gonna take from you guys, because what you're doing is you're gonna do that. You have a certain amount that you're going to give away, correct?
Right.
Right. That's not what we want to support you. We want to support. So what we would like to do is purchase 3 books from you, and then those 3 will go to so whatever you were going to give away, you can add 3 to it. Does that make sense? Right. All right. So let's find 3 people. Auntie, I have the challenge and that you're going to struggle with is, could you please put Sister Phoenix and Dorian Kelly in your runnings? I don't know how you're going to do that, Anake. But Pastor Kelly and Sister Phoenix, could you put them in your runnings?
DC.
But and then but they didn't really comment. But since and then DC Hay. So DC Hay, Dorian, as Pastor DC Hay, and Philetta, because Philetta is not on here either, right? Okay. Right. So there's Philetta Johnson, there is Sister Odine Cole Phoenix, there is Pastor Dorian Kelly, there's Pastor DC Hay.
And Camille Anderson.
But we have Camille here already. All right, so let's see how you go. That will be your headache, Anake. I gave you all the names. Let me check. What happened is everyone that comments should all converge here on StreamYard, but for whatever reason, it doesn't. And so we've been noticing in weeks when we go back and look at the Facebook page, we'll see people commenting, and we missed it during the thing so we're trying to catch them now. All right, and you ready for your drum roll?
While she's working it out, though, I just kind of want to highlight something Javar said at the end there. And we kind of laughed about it. The proof is in the pudding. But I think it's important to note that, because oftentimes we talk about things and we can't really show the evidence.
Right.
And what you said was that, look at us. Right. We're sitting here together, able to have these conversations and discussions. In
3 generations.
In a way that we, maybe 10 years ago, weren't able to do it. And so we can actually see that evidence. So I want to encourage people, as you're listening tonight, see where calm, start practicing it today.
and let me also say this, just from knowing them personally. That's Annika Fagan for you. Let me also say this, just because I know them personally. Pastor Baldeo, Dr. Baldeo, and the men don't even, while we share the same religion, we don't even, and that's what we need to talk about, probably kick off when we come back next time, if you guys want to go deep, don't even share the same, doesn't even emphasize the same things religiously, and can still have this conversation, and can still have this healthy dialogue without anybody saying you're wrong, you're right, so I think yes, I think his response was perfect. All right, who's our winners? Who are our winners?
Here it comes.
I love her wheel voice.
Wheel of Fortune.
I know. All right, so Pastor Hay, we're gonna tell you in a second. All right, so we have Pastor Hay.
All right, next up.
Pastor Kelly. Pastor Hay, Pastor Kelly. I promise you, we don't have anything to do with it.
All right, last up, let's see.
And Hilbert Glenn. So he has won everything. Well, he deserves it. Okay, so this is what we want you to do. You're going to go to bridgingstrategies.com, Pastor, and they will see there how to.
Yeah, they just need to get on and fill out one of the the contact forms or the assessment, we will just send those names to us, and then we will reach out later on this month, right after the launch.
All right.
Perfect.
So normally we would send you to our website, but since Dr. Baldeo is my friend, we're going to send you to.
And since we pre-launch with you tonight.
Yeah. There we go. We're going to ask you to go to bridgingstrategies.com, and we're going to follow up on Messenger with you guys, just in case you all are not on here. There are other folk on here. Wish you had just said something that would have gotten you in the runnings, but we'll reach out to you guys in case you guys are not on here right now.
And if you weren't a winner tonight, guess what? You can still head on over to www.kwministries.net/shop, and you can still be a winner right there.
You just gotta pay for it yourself.
That's all.
Listen, what time is it? Oh, it's 9:02. Oh my gosh, we're over time. Gentlemen, thank you all so very much for stopping by. We're so grateful. Were you guys coming back next week? Did we? Okay, I apologize. Okay.
Listen, I also want you to know, your listeners can watch out. We are just working on a podcast called Me and the Boys.
Nice.
We have just touched the tip of the iceberg tonight. There's a lot more to unpack, a lot more to talk about in cross-generational dynamics. Dr. Taylor, Pastor Taylor, we are so happy that you invited us. Nothing happens before the time, Pastor Taylor. Be quiet.
I guess he heard me. Huh?
And we just want to tell you that you're doing a tremendous job as you try to look into different areas of how to heal. And we really appreciate your ministry. We're going to again ask you to support your ministry, because your ministry is really doing some deep stuff, digging deep and helping people to heal on their journey.
Well, if it's Monday night, you're live with K,
W,
and J. Peace.